I've had this take kind of bubbling for the last couple of years. I got laughed at the first time I brought it up, if you can believe that, on this podcast. Laughed at. I think that Coach K is not as good a head coach as Coach Williams is.
Interesting.
I think if you look at what Coach...
That's a nice way of laughing in your face.
Yeah, no, because if you look at what he's done, while Coach K's tenure at Duke, while Roy Williams has been at UNC, by any measurement, you can say that Roy Williams has been more successful.
You want to hear what's something amazing, though? And this is something I remember I was doing an interview with Coach Knight. It was 8 years ago, and he brought this up. We value so much when we're talking sports or people in our society, obviously winning national championships, getting the Final Fours, all that stuff. In a one-game tournament like the NCAA tournament, the level of separation is so small. It's not a 7-game series. Since 1984, and I need to double-check this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Since 84, okay, Duke has missed the NCAA tournament one time. When Coach K was hurt that year. And
the back injury. Oh, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, and we'll double check that. I believe 84 is the year. That's amazing.
Yes.
That every year they've been in the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
That's amazing. Just the fact that they've gotten to the tournament. It's obviously amazing that they've won 5 national championships and are going for a 6th this year. But that's just an unbelievable accomplishment.
How many does Roy have?
3.
5.
He has 3. Now, if you think about it too, there's a lot. When you're coached this long and you're this successful, there's always what ifs. When it comes to Roy Williams, what if Wayne Simeon didn't get hurt in 2003 when they played Syracuse? Now, Jeff Graves, the backup who stepped in the starting lineup, had a great game against Syracuse. That should also be pointed out. But if that Wayne Simeon injury doesn't happen, something could be different.
What are you looking up right now?
Just want to make sure that 84 was the first year.
There you go.
That coach
He's fact-checking himself, folks. That's a move we don't do.
84. One miss since 84.
All right, so you said interesting to PFT's first hot take. Let's do his second one, that Tom Izzo's overrated.
Tom Izzo is overrated.
That's PFT's other
Okay,
take.
Why do you think he's overrated?
He just hasn't won the big one in a while.
Yeah, but
he's coasting. He's coasting off.
Well,
there's no way to say that without coming across a dude just hasn't won enough.
Saying Tom Izzo's overrated is like saying that the Godfather epic is overrated.
Godfather 3 is kind of trash, and that's where he's at in his trilogy
PFT,
right now.
The Godfather epic is not including the Godfather 3. It's a chronological breakdown of the Godfathers 1 and 2 chronologically, because we have obviously a prequel kind of in the start of Godfather 2. This is the thing, though, I want to point out about Tom Izzo.
Yeah.
We have seen injuries devastate certain programs. A lot of people were worried in 14-15 who were Wisconsin alums when Trayvon Jackson went down that Wisconsin wasn't going to be the same team. Think about this for a second. In 2010, Kalen Lucas went down with injury. Michigan State still went to a Final Four. They lost to Butler in the national semifinals. Last year, Josh Langford, the starting shooting guard from Michigan State, goes down with injury. His backup, Kyle Arns, goes down with injury, and Michigan State still goes to a Final Four.
Yeah.
Can't be overrated if that's happening.
He's mean to his players.
That whole Aaron Henry thing, that was ridiculous.
But they're ranked number 1. Do you think that they're going to live up to that ranking? Because I always feel like this is a different year where we don't have one of those Kentucky or Dukes.
Or Wisconsin. There's no Decker or Kaminsky team right now.
No, but I'm saying, but what I really mean is there's no – it feels like in the past few years it's been either Kentucky, Duke, maybe even Kansas throw in there, or UNC, where it's they got 4 of the top 10 recruits. They're not going to lose.
Well, let's put it this way for a second. You look at obviously college basketball across the board, and you look at the last couple of national champions, the one thing we've always looked at that's been synonymous with all these champions is they've each had at least 1, maybe 2 longtime pros. Michigan State's the consensus number 1 team in the country. You don't see a longtime pro in their starting lineup. I mean, the Duke team in 2015, loaded with pros. 2016, Villanova, loaded with pros. Carolina in 17, Joel Berry, Justin Jackson. 18, Villanova, loaded with pros. This past year, Virginia, Ty Jerome, Kyle Guy. You don't see that on Michigan State, and they're number 1. I think we are going to have breakthroughs this season. I think we are going to have an unbelievable balance across the board. I mean, think about this for a second. Last year, we had an unbelievable season in the ACC and the SEC. 13 of the ACC's top 20 scores from last year are gone, and 15 of the SEC's top 20 scores are gone. Damn. There has been a passage in college basketball. Who is next in line? We'll have to tune in, day out.
Damn. I like that.
Cassius Winston coming back.
Yeah.
So what's his future look like as a pro? Because a lot of people are saying like he's not going to cut it. It's not going to happen.
Well, let's enjoy Cassius Winston as a senior point guard first. But, we look at, and it's a good point, PFT, you look at obviously people who are dynamic at the lead guard spot in college basketball as being somebody that we gravitate to because that's the position in the sport that you have to have. The guy who might have the most dynamic guard in college basketball is your buddy Tom Crean. Anthony Edwards could be the number 1 pick in the 2020 NBA draft. I had Tom Crean on my podcast last month, and I asked him, how does he compare to 2 other guys that you've coached, Wade and Oladipo? And he told me that from a physical perspective, he's never been around any player like Anthony Edwards. And Tom Crean, as you guys know, as detail-oriented, as focused as anybody. My line for him is he's more focused than Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive. Yeah, and we know how focused Tommy Lee Jones was in that movie.
That. I mean, we all know that. Yeah. Everyone who's listening to this knows that.
Right. So, so he's always excelled at player development, but that, to me, makes Georgia a team now that if they're playing and saying, well, they could have number 1 pick on their team. The underrated game of Thanksgiving week, which is the great week where Feast week, where we have games on top of games. Georgia against Dayton,
Maui.
First round Maui. Anthony Edwards of Georgia against another guy who could blow up and rise on draft boards this year, Obi Toppin of Dayton.
And we have Tom Crean going back to Hawaii, so we get to see him in the Hawaiian shirt, which is always great.
He's
the
best. He blends in perfectly with the Hawaiian shirt. He looks like he's ready to go to Jimmy Buffett concert.
Yes.
It's so great looking because his face gets a little bit redder even in the lay. Just spectacular sight.